I think it's time to start. Thank you very much for coming to this session. This is, I have to read this. Good afternoon and welcome to the 42nd CALLERLAB convention in Springfield, Missouri. Today is March 30, and this is the extended but not extreme basic session. I am Masaharu Hiraga. It's too lengthy, so just call me Doc. Dears, that's easier. And our panelists, Mike Callahan and Walt Burr, and I will introduce these two guys and also myself first. And okay, I'm from Japan, and I am a area caller near Tokyo to our train ride from Tokyo, not very far. But I have to concentrate onto my area, which was empty 20 years ago. And starting from 20 years ago until today, I could build up 6 clubs and 2 groups for basic. And so I am calling every day. Too busy. But JSDA, Japan Square Dance Association's member, and some committee members, including International Affairs Committee. I call from basic to C2, but C1, C2 is very rare for me, and not very good calling, but I still learning. And advanced is okay. That's my level. This is my self-introduction, and please let me stand. Mike Callahan from Mike Callahan from Rochester area, New York. Okay, he is calling full time since '74. That's when I started dancing. And regularly, he calls at the 6 clubs from basics up to C1, mainly MSP and advanced. And he has been calling internationally in Germany and Australia too. And he is school square dancing teacher, in Monroe County of New York State. Physical education program is going on, and how many years? 30 years, wow. And he runs a square dance competition for students. That's very interesting. And Walt Burr from Germany, he started dancing in 76, yeah? And in Georgia? Is that right? And started calling 88, and in the same area. He was in the service, U.S. Air Force, okay, and in England, right? And he is now in Germany with Julie Burr, married to Julie, and he is active caller of ECTA, active caller to ECTA. ECTA stands for European Callers and Teachers Association. Yes, that's right. And he is a leader of Grand Square International Europe, and I am a leader of Japan. I am working for GSI also, and so we too talk to each other very frequently. This coming Japan, he is coming to Japan this year, November, to help me in teaching the callers and the dancers. So it's good. Is there anything I have to add about you? It's okay? Okay. All right, let's start the session from my introduction. You have a handout of the big letters like this. And I have a very unique dance program. Extended, but not extreme. What does it mean? Very, very difficult to understand, but the listed 51 calls in basic initially for the entry-level dancers for sure to learn the standard applications. This itself makes one dance. Even only in the standard application, it makes a one dance program, just like the other programs. For the dancers who have finished the entry-level stage, however, the basic calls are taught in a certain range of extension, as you know, and depending on which dance program they are in. So this is the point. I don't know if we extend the call, use of the call, what program that extension belongs to. I don't know. But there is an exception in the case of advanced. It is said something. Let me continue. On holding this session, it is implied that we should use extended basic call in our choreography, which may be adequate for the mainstream dancers, but maybe within basic. That's up to you. Your judgment is necessary. If one takes the teaching situation as aware that dancers have learned plus standard application in 40 lessons or something like that, the range of extension should be expanded for the dancers in plus, advanced, even challenge. I don't know. Without having a well-planned teach order and workshopping those extensions for classes and clubs, it may be difficult for dancers to raise their competency level. So we have to be careful. There are several ways to extend the basic application. This is my understanding. Let's see the page 5 to 6. This is, I tried to make a chart to show you what kind of extension can be done for each call. So I think I missed many possible application, but you can add on to this table. And from the number 1 to 51, so many various way to expand the application. But here, there are several ways to extend the basic applications and applying the convention and rules which appears in the basic and mainstream definition book. Number 1, passing rule, including left version. I don't know if I can use the left version for every call. Number 2, same position rule. Again, in the basic range, it's very rare, but still it's there. Number 3, facing couple rule. We do this when doing swing through, but not many. Number 4, ocean wave rule. There are several. And B, utilizing all arrangements, Sashay position and that kind of thing, for various start formation. Those are source of the expansion. C, fractionizing the call into half or quarter increments. Again, this is quite difficult. D, left and reverse version. Oh my goodness, this very, very complicated thing. E, on the diagonal or diagonally or on number 3 hand or something like that. On the third hand, that kind of application can be done. And talking about the left and reverse version, somehow in the advanced program material, there is an expression like this. The dance program each of those applications belongs to is not described in a color. This is not in the advanced. This is my idea. The dance program each of those applications belong to is not described in the CALLERLAB dance program documents. Okay, remember this. And an exception is left and reverse. It is written in the advanced. The modifier left and reverse appears in an advanced glossary of descriptive terms used in the definitions. And here, bold letter is the call related to is basic. But still, the left version has to have this kind of nature, a right pull back or pass through action or passing action, right arm turn, let that touch something. You can use left to those. And this is different from reverse. Reverse, there are 5 calls which can apply a reverse: roll away, half sashay, wheel around, cross return, flutter wheel, circle to a line. And flutter wheel is already in the program, as you know. Reverse flutter is included. And also in the left modifier, left swing through or left square through is included already, but others not. So how to extend the application is, you can know from these descriptions. And my interpretation of this is that, we have opposite words or paired words. You can exchange that. Both bells or boys and girls. In or out. And some more. Centers or inside, ends or outside. By the way, and that's it. Okay, forget it. Partner and corner. You can exchange corner to partner or something like that. Clockwise, counterclockwise, obvious. This could also be argued. Examples are ladies in men's sashay, boys in the girls' sashay, something like that. Walk around the corner, seesaw partner. I do call walk around the partner, seesaw a corner. It's a reverse. And some more hints on choreographic extension is, this is a little different from the normal calling. And departure from frequent use of the specific formations such as 2x4 grid might be a little extended for some students. Entry-level dancers. And one of the examples is square breathing can be intentionally utilized when appropriate. Good example is, heads right on it through and Veer Left. If I do a lead to the left, that's tendency. But I don't know why, but veer to the left should push the side away because we need some more space, right? And also from a agency formation passage ocean, the outside people can go farther, so it's okay. But after doing a swing through and boy run and small bend the line, it's far apart. So it should shrink. So that kind of square breathing can be intentionally utilized for having a new feeling from the dancer. And number 2, mixture of circle, star, grand chords, and forward chords. You can do them. The easiest example is square 4, walk around your corner, seesaw partner, boy star right, type of thing. From square forward chord to circle chord. There are many, and I will pass my microphone to these panelists. But here, any application which could evoke a laugh may be allowable as a gimmick. That's my understanding. The language in everyday use makes a big difference in use of supplementary commands. Like me, myself, use a lot of Japanese language explaining the movement. So my dancer tends to dance to my Japanese explanation, not to the call. So I kept 20 times same explanation, and dancers expect my Japanese explanation. So no progress. So I have to use more frequently the English call. Okay. And lastly, good color judgment, depending on the situation, is always expected. Thank you very much. I'll pass the microphone to Mike Callahan.
Thanks, Doc. First of all, I think you'll find that maybe something that's extended or extreme to us may not be in other parts of the world, okay? And I think what we're trying to do with this session is show you some different uses of the basics that we might consider extended, and maybe Walt would say, oh, that's probably taught at our club normally, and maybe we don't. So we're trying to give you some different ideas of how to use the basics, okay? And by the way, these are all in your flash drive, okay? All right. And, most of us here call for clubs. How many here call for clubs, local clubs? Okay. How many here teach classes? Anybody teach a class? Okay. What I did is I took 4 basics, circle, half sashay, trades, and wheel around. And I'm going to give you a few ideas of how to use these calls a little differently. And then maybe some of you folks might have some other ideas we'd like to hear also. Okay, this is all on tape, so we're going to be passing the mic back and forth. We might ask for a square for a little demo of some of the things we're doing here. Okay. A lot of times, we're calling. We'd really like to use a call a little different way, but we're so focused on the calling we don't think of it. Okay. We want to make it feel a little different for our dancers. So most of these sequences that I'm doing are pretty much very easily memorized. They're modules. They're things that you guys can use, right away. I don't read when I call at all, but I do have in between tips, I might have some cards that say an idea card. Oh yeah, I didn't use that yet. I got to use that next tip, or something like that. Okay. So in your circles, we all started answering. All join hands, circle left, and that might be the last time we use that the whole night, except for singing calls. Okay. What about we said, all join hands and circle left 3/4 and back away, and the bucket stirred? Okay. We're not using the 3/4, the quarters, or the half. We would always say, join hands, circle left all the way to home, Callahan left, grand right left, and so forth. But you can do a lot with circles. All right. Couples facing. It's very simple. A circle half is a right and left through. Head couples promenade halfway around, come down the center, circle half. Or if you're using your dive through or pass to the center, that type of thing, instead of using dive through, or you pass through, trade by, circle half. Pass through, trade by, Callahan left. You can have the head couples promenade half, while the sides circle half in the middle. Really things that we don't really think about, but they're easy to teach, they're easy to use, and they're easy for your one-night parties also. Okay. If you say the head couples circle right 3/4 and then pass through, you've actually done a heads lead to the right. So instead of saying heads lead to the right and circle to a line, why don't you say heads circle right 3/4, pass through, and then circle to a line. A little different. Head ladies chain. Heads circle right 1/4, then pass through, you're in a 0 box. So instead of saying, head square through 4 hands, say head ladies chain, head circle right 1/4, pass through, you're in a 0 box. So these things are a little different things that you can use, all right? Here's one, head circle left 1/4, all do a double pass through, first couple go left, next couple go right, you're in lines of 4 in sequence with your partner, okay? So instead of saying heads lead to the right, circle 4, make a line, pass through, wheel and deal, double pass through, first left, go next right, you're in sequence. Here's one that you can use, heads circle left 1/4, double pass through, first couple left, next right, and then go on from there, okay? If you have the heads lead to the right and circle 3/4 and back away, you're in lines 4 with sequence with your partner. So you could use that instead of, the old heads lead to the right, circle 4 to a line, say heads lead to the right, circle left 3/4, back away, you're in lines of 4 in sequence. So all these little things are things we don't think about when we're calling, but they're easy to use, they're easy to work, they're easy to memorize. Okay? This is sort of a gimmick. Heads pass through, sides pass through, all circle left, you're facing out. Face your partner, pass through, element left. And that's a way of using a circle when everybody's facing out. Okay? The last one I got for the circle, could I get a square up here for a second? Just demonstrate something real quick.
Thank you, Jim. We need a lady.
No yellow rocks.
Do we have to do that right?
No yellow.
So we can have the, and I got this from Vic Cedars' site. Heads lead to the right and circle to a line. I'm sorry, back away, sorry, back up. Okay, couple number 1 only, lead to the right and circle to a line. Just couple number 1, make a line of 4. Who's couple number 2, original couple number 2, lead to the right and circle 4. At that man break, make a line of 4. Okay, couple number 3, lead to the right, circle 4. Break out, make a line of 4. Couple number 4, lead to the right and do a California twirl and the bucket stirred. Okay, so these are real things that you can memorize very easily and do. Give them a nice hand. Thank you very much. Guys, go sit down. Okay. How about half sashay? How many here are calling the dance and you call half sashay and you see people roll away still? Okay. I do too. Okay. Half sashay is a real easy call to teach DBD. Because once you have the right-hand dancer slide in front, you can do it again almost immediately. You can have the man slide in front. So half sashay, I teach, DBD very quickly because it leads really nice into a lady's chain. Like heads half sashay again, and then the lady's chain across. Or flutter wheel, heads half sashay again, flutter wheel, okay? That leads right in, a nice flow call, okay? So I call half sashay twice almost immediately when I teach it. Okay, nice little get out, if you have your 0 box and you do a right and left through, okay, instead of saying dive through, square through 3 hands, just say half sashay, pass through, grand right and left, because they're facing their partner, okay. Nice way to lead into a grand right and left, okay. How about doing a half sashay from a promenade? You're promenading, everybody half sashay, puts the man on the outside, half sashay again, puts them back on the inside. Keep promenading. Okay, so these are things that people can pick up pretty easily. Now, once you do your half sashay and they're doing real well, How about a half sashay once and a half? Anybody use half sashay once and a half here? Oh, okay, all right. Is this something that's taught right away in Japan? When you teach half sashay, do you teach half sashay once and a half? Okay, late, okay. But half sashay once and a half is a nice flowing call. You know, if you use normal couples, the man's in the lead. You have sashay once and a half, and the man's in the lead, and you're a double pass-through position. Okay. One of the things that, you know, everybody says, you know, heads past the ocean, extend, heads past the ocean, ping pong, circulate, whatever. How about head ladies chain, heads half sashay once and a half, the centermen in the center now, if you can visualize this, I hope you can. Centermen pass through, touch a quarter. It's the same thing as the heads past the ocean. All right. Heads are right and left through, half sashay. Pass through, go round two. Well, half sashay once and a half, all right. And let's see where I am here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Four ladies chain three quarters. Heads are right and left through, half sashay once and a half. Double pass through. Men go right, girls go left, around one. You have your lines of sequence. Can we get that square back up here again? Just show you that one time real quick. So let's have the four ladies chain three quarters. Heads are right and left through. Half sashay once and a half. That puts the men in the lead. Okay. Double pass through. Boy go right, girl go left, around one, make a line of four. Okay. So things that you can do with half sashay once and a half works really good. Okay. One more. Square your set. And this is a little different. And you really, the dancers really have to know your half sashay real well with this. Okay. Heads right and left through. Half sashay. Pass through. Go round two to make a line of four. Separate, go round two to make a line of four. Okay. All right. So you got your lines of four. Ladies with each other, half sashay. Men do a half sashay. Couple in the middle do a half sashay. Everybody do a half sashay to a right and left grand. Okay? So, nice little opener. And if you have a nice plus floor who think they know plus, this is a great opener, you know. Okay? Okay, you guys can go sit down. That's an equalizer, Walt says. Okay? All right? You normally do trades from an ocean wave or a two-faced line. All right? You can do couples trade. Heads lead to the right, veer to the left. Couples trade instead of a couple circulate. All right? Or heads lead to the right, veer to the left. Couples trade. Okay? Lines of four. If you do a lines of four, pass through and have the couples trade, you have done nothing. They're still in sequence. They still have their partner. Okay? Can everybody visualize that okay? You have your lines of four, pass through, and the couples trade. You're back in a line of four, but you haven't changed your sequence at all. Okay? So you can go on from there. Okay. Let me get the square back up one more time here. Okay? Somebody else, too. Somebody else can volunteer also. Okay? I know it. Let's have the head couples just slide to the right and make a line of four. All right, make a line of four. Okay. Pass through. All right, remember if you're a boy or a girl now. Okay. Boys trade. Ends trade. Centers trade. Centers trade. Okay. Boys trade again. You're back in a line of 4 with your partner. Doesn't change sequence. Okay. Pass through again. All right. And let's try it with the ladies starting out. Ladies trade. Ends trade. Centers trade. Ends trade. Okay. Ends untrade. 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 All right. I meant to say ladies trade. And then you're back in the line of 4 with your partner again. See? Okay. So those don't change sequence. In other words, you can do that and then go on from there. Okay. Square your set one time. And let's do some trades from an Alamo ring. Okay. Element left your corner to an Alamo ring. Now remember who the original, in fact, you got to say to the dancers before you do this, who are the original heads and who are the original sides. Okay. Heads trade. Ladies trade. Boys trade. Sides trade. Who are the sides? Okay. Let's do that again. Heads trade. Now just stay right where you are. Who are the original heads? No, I'm talking to the heads. Heads trade. Girls trade. Boys trade. Sides trade. Man left. Come back and promenade home again. And this might be getting a little extreme, okay? But it's something that is kind of a nice little gimmick to do, okay? The last call I want to use is called wheel around, which I don't think is used as much as it should be, okay? And you got to make sure that the ladies or the couples take hands when you're doing your wheel around, all right? Any facing couples, you don't have to do this, but if you pass through and wheel around, the same as a right and left through, okay? Why don't we have the head couples promenade half? Come down the center, pass through, and wheel around, okay? Same calls right and left through. How about having the head couples pass through, wheel around, and a half sashay, and a star through? You have your box, okay, your 0 box. Instead of saying head square through 4 hands. That's a nice little lead-in for that. Okay? All right? Everybody promenade your partner. Or take your partner, square your set. Okay? A lot of us don't use a reverse wheel around, or a promenade and wheel around. Everybody promenade your partner. Okay? All 4 couples wheel around and promenade the wrong way around or whatever. You can use this with your basic dancing, your basic dancers. Okay. Let's have the head couples lead to the left, veer to the right, couples circulate. Who are the sides? Sides wheel around. And you got a line of 4. Now it's out of sequence now. So you would have to get your dancers back in sequence using a right and left through or whatever. Okay. Let me do one more here. All right, square your set. Okay, head slide over, make line of 4. Okay, and now this is starting to get a little bit more extreme, and maybe not for Germany. I'm not sure, but all right, all right, all right, all right. 0 lines. Okay, the ends pass through. Centers, ends. Centers. Wheel around. Everybody wheel around. You're back in a line of 4 again. Individually. As couples. Okay. If you do that again, if you do that twice, ends pass through, centers wheel around, everybody wheel around, you got your partner back, lines of sequence. Okay. A double 0, or a two times a 0, okay? So all these things, some are extreme, some are not, but you really have to use a lot of caller judgment for this, and especially call delivery. You got to have people got to say, check who are before you even start, who are the original heads, who are the original sides. And these are uncommon extensions, okay? Some are a little bit more extreme, but they're all uncommon. And as I said, as Doc said, caller judgment is the greatest thing that you have to think about when you're using some of this type of stuff, okay? And never assume the level of dancers that you're calling to. I mean, if you go into a club and they say, you know, we're plus dancers, try a few things before you get really into it, okay? Okay, you guys can sit down. I'm going to turn this over to Walt.
Thank you, Mike. By the way, you gave me a really good lead-in with your sashay, half sashay, once and a half. Because I'm going to do a little bit with do sa do, once and a half. All right. So, basic dancing in Europe tends to be different than basic dancing here in the USA. As I understand it, there's actually very little basic dancing going on in the USA. Is that correct? Am I correct? Okay.
Can I say something? The basic program in the U.S. is more of a teaching order. Okay. As far as I know of no basic clubs, and even the festivals do not have a basic hall. Okay. They have mainstream plus or advanced.
Okay. I wasn't aware that it was that extreme, that there was literally no basic dancing going on. In Europe, we don't have basic clubs, but we do have a lot of organized basic dances. We have things like, I have to look, student parties, Munich area, Stuttgart area, Rhine area student parties. Average attendance at those is between 350 and 400. We have the European Callers and Teachers Association student jamborees. They have 2 a year, one north and one south. And this year the attendance at those was about 850 each. All right. These are not all students. These are graduated dancers, mainstream plus dancers, that come out and dance basic, because the program at these is the basic section of the mainstream program. So we do have some organized basic dancing, and we tend to use the basics a little bit differently. We do some things with fractionalizing. Mike mentioned half sashay, once and a half. We do things like do sa do, once and a half. All right, things like that. Right and left through and a quarter more is real common. How many of you use do pa so when you're calling? How many of you use the classic partner left, corner right, partner left to an alabandor? How many of you use anything else? Boy, the hands went, whew. Scott, yeah, I know, Scott, but you do weird stuff anyways. Yeah, I know. I borrow yours. Not long ago, we were asked to do a workshop, and they asked us, they said, we want something different. We want something from VARs and circles and things like that. And it really had us scratching our head. When I say we, I mean my wife and myself. My wife is also a caller. What we came up with was some stuff using do pa so, but a little bit different finish. Can we have our square back for a minute? You can if you want, right? Yes, certainly. Now, before we start, we also tend to do things like circulates from an alabandar, because an alabandar is nothing but two waves crossed in the middle. We do trades from that also. If we could have everybody start a do pa so, partner left, corner right, back to your partner for a left shoulder do sa do, once and a half. Once and a half. Okay. Box the net. Change hands, left pull by. Wrong way grand. And I want you to notice who went wrong. It was all the callers. All right. Would you guys like a walkthrough? Ladies, you did just fine. Okay. Let's do that again. All right. This was a workshop, but it was a workshop. It was intended to be a little bit different. All right, to make the dancers think just a little bit and be fun at the same time. Do paso, partner left, corner right. Back to your partner for a left shoulder do-sa-do once and a half. Super. Box the net. Change hands. That means use your left. Pull by. And wrong way grand. And normally we would have a swing right about here, but you don't have to swing. You can just promenade. You guys can swing if you want to. Okay. The next one starts from a circle left, but I'm not going to make you do that. Everybody half sashay. All right. Do paso. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, do paso. Partner left. Partner. Gentlemen, you've changed sides. Partner left. Corner right. Back to the partner with a left arm turn through. You're facing corner. You should be. You should be. You should be. All right. Everybody back home. Everybody back home. Everybody back. That's okay. These are simple basics with just enough difference, and our dancers had to walk through it also. This is the kind of thing that's common in Europe. All right. Let's try this. Heads half sashay. Star through. Square through 3. 3. Do paso. Partner left. Corner right. Back to the partner for a left hand mini wave. That's all. That's all. Left hand mini wave. Boys have a hand in the middle. All right. Trade. I'm sorry. Sorry, Scott, I forgot which one you were. Okay. Okay, have you done the trade? Have you done the trade? I asked you to trade. Trade. Shh. Okay. Okay, I have to look at where I was. Girls circulate. We do circulates from theirs. Boys circulate. Now here's one that absolutely stopped even our European dancers. Look very carefully where you're standing. All 8 circulate. Positioning is critical. Okay? And although it's not on a list, we use a nose-to-nose sashay. Simple reason being you can't say spread at basic. So nose-to-nose sashay for a right and left grand. Wrong way grand, sorry. All right? And if we're real lucky, you finish with your partner.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Is it no possible definition says turn your partner by the left
Yep.
and turn your corner by the right?
Yep.
If that is correct from here, then it's a full turnaround. Because we turn our partner by the left, my corner is there. I've got to go all the way around my
I disagree. I disagree. The definition says, and I will read it to you as soon as I take my glasses off. The dance action is left arm turn with a partner until facing corner. But you're half sashayed. You have changed sides. Okay?
I haven't changed corners.
Okay. Rather than... Okay. Hold up, please. Can you and I talk about this afterwards? Because we only have a limited amount of time. All right? Everybody back home, please. We did dance these with our club, and they worked. All right? Pardon me, I have to take my glasses off to see this. This is a good example. And I mean no disrespect to anybody, but I see a bigger and bigger and bigger disparity between what you're dancing here and what we're dancing in Europe and Japan. And I don't really know the reason. I don't really understand the reason. They partly, but why don't you guys sit down for a second? Partly because, remember, our dancers are listening to a foreign language. Right? They are listening to English, but it's a foreign language. Now, imagine if we reverse that, and I say to you, Guten Abend, ladies and Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren, ich bin Walt Burr aus München, Deutschland. Did you understand anything I said? You did. I introduced myself. That's all I did. All right? Imagine if you were dancing in a foreign language. You would learn it very precisely. You would learn exactly what that definition is. All right? If I say to you, cast off drei Viertel, that's 3/4. Okay. They tend to be more precise because they're listening to a foreign language. It's not me. It's an Amber Alert. Oh, I thought it was my hearing aid. So our dancers, because they are listening to a foreign language, just like, same thing with Doctor, excuse me, Mike, I didn't mean to reach in front of me. Because they're listening to a foreign language, they learn exactly what it is. All right? As a result of that, because they learn the definition so precisely, we tend to not push the envelope with the definitions. We tend to be a little more creative because we know the dancers know exactly what to do. Okay? Moment. Whoa.
Jim Wright, Leawood, Kansas. Walt, could it also be as we were talking earlier, the disparity between you in Europe and in Japan actually teaching and doing basic dances, as opposed to here in the States, where we just use those as the basics only and rush to mainstream and in some places beyond?
It could well be. We have a lot of organized basic program. I hate the word level. I don't like the word level. Basic program or basic section of the mainstream program. We have a lot of organized events. And almost all of our big festivals, if they take place during class time, which is October to May, have a basic hall, a full-time basic hall. So that could be. There's more opportunity for our people to go and dance. I know there's a good bit of basic dancing in Japan. I hope you're not going to make me do that when I come out there. So yes, Mike.
So do you guys use probably not too many patter words then when you're calling? Maybe just the call itself. Like, you know, when we say do paso, we always say partner left, corner right, partner left. Would you say that?
For my own dancers, no. I would say do paso, and they know where they're going. If you notice on my handout, there's a disclaimer that says the helper words are in red, and you may or may not need them. We tend not to use as many helper words with our lesser experienced dancers because they have a hard time picking out what's the call and what's the help. Okay. More questions? Take these home, take this handout home, get out your checkers, look at the definition carefully. They do work, I promise you. We've danced all of them just recently. More questions? Questions for any of us? We still have some time left.
Does anybody have any other things, like some examples that you would like to present to the group?
What about asymmetrics?
Asymmetric? Yeah. We don't do it very much. We don't really do it at all at mainstream. Occasionally you'll see some at plus because asymmetric dancing, one, takes a lot of help. It takes a lot of directional calling, in my opinion, and it's a struggle for our dancers unless they're very fluent in English.
In Japan, we use unsymmetric choreography only for demonstration. In the case of 8 people, it should look into the same direction to greet the audience or something like that. That's the only place where we use the unsymmetric.
Anyone else would like to present anything that we use? Yeah, Randy. Yeah, you got a mic.
Randy Doherty, Mesa, Arizona. I was just playing with my basic group here this last winter, and I called Boys Separate Around 1. I've never ever heard anybody ever call that. I'm wondering if anybody has or even thought about it, or is it legal? Is it legitimate? From a static square, boys separate round 1. Well, I didn't consider that extreme. The same kind of thing. But when you then say heads do something, well, the head gent now has rotated to the side position, so they forget about men retaining their identity, so then you got the wrong heads going in, unless you say new heads. But I took it a step further and said girls separate round 1.5. Is that the extreme version or what?
That's extreme.
That's extreme. Anybody else? Comments, questions? This is your time. We have about 20 minutes. So, nothing? Nobody?
If you don't have any idea to show here, can I take the image? Yeah, when you square, definitely. This is a little tough, but in my choreo sheet, you will see the diagram. Okay, this is a version of a grand square, and I think you have danced to Tony Occidental or something. I don't have to say the name, but grand square with slide through, something like that. So, but that is, you know, when you approach the two dancers, when they approach, they slide through and back away. But I think the grand square definition is that the turn 1/4. So if insert a slide through, then dancer tends to do another quarter turn. So I don't think slide through doesn't work. So I try to use a pass through and turn. Okay, very slowly I will explain. Head half sashay, sides face. This is the starting. Okay, I would say grand square with a pass through. But whenever you approach to other people on the opposite, just do a pass through on the.
They start with a pass through here?
No, the normal grand square apart. In the case of size, yes. Okay, do 4 steps only. Okay, 1, 2, 3, pass through and turn, and it's just turn, pass through and turn. Yes, here's butterfly. Okay, second 4 beats, gives you a pass through on the outside, I think. Okay, 1, 2, pass through and turn. Then, okay, now second 4 beats. 1, 2, pass through, sentence pass through and turn. Yes, the reverse is same. 1, 2, 3, reverse.
We haven't reversed. We're not to that point yet.
Yeah, count 4. Yeah, go to the next. 1, 2, 3. No, don't do that. Reverse is a normal reverse. Yeah, reverse, just reverse. And then 1, 2, 3, turn, but pass through in the center. 1, 2, 3, and pass through and turn. And 2, 3, and end posture and turn. Return to the static square. You don't have to, sides don't have to face in. That's the beauty of this. Right? Do I do it again? Okay. Let's do it. Sides. Sides how Sashay, heads face. Okay? Now, ground square with the pass through. 1, 2, turn, 3. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, pass through and turn. 1, 2, reverse. Here's just a normal reverse. 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, pass through and turn. Pass through and turn. 1, 2, pass through and turn. 1, 2, pass through and turn. That's it. Thank you very much. This is a big gimmick.
Going to keep the square? Randy Doherty again. This is going into the deep water again, extreme, but it's similar to the grand square. Okay? Let's have the heads lead right, circle to a line, head gent break. 2 ladies chain. Side gent and the girl you got, half sashay. Okay? Original heads work forward, original sides work backwards, everybody grand square. That's why that's called the extreme grand square. Go back where you were before you started the mess. You had the boys on the ends, girls in the middle, right? Now, the thing about Mike was saying about how to prepare the caller to make success or get the dancers ready, I would start this off with the wheelbarrow word. Nobody does wheelbarrows very well, but if the 2 men figure out they're a wheelbarrow, would you join both hands? Girls, you guys watch this group because you'll need a demonstration. You girls wheelbarrow, and you're gonna nothing more than a wheelbarrow do-si-do around these girls. They're gonna wheelbarrow do-si-do around you boys. Either push or pull. You're a puller, and you're a puller. You're a pusher. Go wheelbarrow do-si-do. You're doing some extra stuff there, Sandy. You didn't keep the same person pushing and pulling. Don't change your facing direction. Okay? Wheelbarrow do-si-do. I get them prepared. No, see, you just change your facing direction. Pusher, slider. This is called don't change your facing direction. No, that's all right. Okay. Now, does that have anything to do with it? Yeah, it does, because it starts off with this type of a thing. If we say original heads go forward, you're ahead, right? Your original head, your original head. If you're going forward, you're doing the push, you're doing the pull, he's doing the push. So it feels like, we're not even going to have you guys play until you see these, okay? Do the wheelbarrow. And after you make after the first 3 steps, you're still turn in, aren't you? Now don't change the axis here. You turn in, the girls are going to become a couple. And what's the next part of grand square? Girls will back up, boys will go forward. What's the next part of grand square? Turn in. Now you're in tandem. Turn in, not out. And this reinforces grand square, hopefully. Now you're in tandem. Walk, 2, 3, and you turn in. Where's in? Girls, you become a couple when you turn in. Girls go forward, boys back up. Here's where we're going to reverse. Now back. No. Now the boys go forward and the girls back up. Turn in, face in, become tendonized. Walk by each other. Turn in, face the center of the square. Boys as a couple back up. Girls as a couple go forward. Turn in, face the same sex. Wheelbarrow back to you where you started. Whew. Ready to try this? No. You guys take a break. All right, right here. Who's the original heads? Who's the original sides? Okay, the only thing this really does is it reinforces the walk, 2, 3, turn, walk, 2, 3, turn. And every time you turn, you have to turn what? A quarter in. This is in. You got it, Wade? Okay, you're what, ahead? Okay, original heads go forward, original sides back up to start, grand square. Now become a couple. No, in, Back up. Now become tandem. Turn in. Turn. Now become a couple. Reverse. Become tendonized. You're not looking in, Jody. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Thank you, Randy. That's nice. Did you enjoy? It's a twosome movement. it's twosome, C2 or C3 way or something like that.
Could I get a couple? Hey, Ron, Jay King from Van Buren, Arkansas. Jody, come here, man. Oh, just two couples is fine. Yeah, just two couples will work. Because I wanted to get. We were talking about wheel arounds a moment ago. Could you do a half sashay for me, guys? And so what I've been playing with is from lines of 4, half sashayed, pass through. Okay. Do a half sashay again, boy in front, and then wheel around. The question is, does that seem to flow good for you?
Can I get 2 more couples up there? I want to show you something. That's kind of a neat opener. And I think I saw Jerry Story do this, I'm pretty sure. Okay. All right. We got our square. Everybody veer left. Everybody wheel around. Everybody veer left. Everybody wheel around your home. Okay? And you can do the reverse also. Remember, when you reverse wheel around, who wheels? Okay? Everybody veer right. Everybody reverse wheel around. Everybody veer right. Everybody reverse wheel around your home. Okay? That's kind of a neat little opener, if you have a real, but, you don't want to do this with new people or, inexperienced people. Doc, you have anything else? Anybody else want to contribute? Anybody have little ideas they'd like to do? Sure, Scott.
Well, this isn't really difficult because you can use helper words because we need a girl here. Thanks, Mitch. He's got good skirt work, by the way. Okay, so the idea is to work, we used to do this years ago. We'd take our corner and set up a diagonal, right? We used to do that, Randy, set up diagonals all the time. So let's have the 4 ladies chain. By the way, my name is Scott Byers, and I'm from Sacramento, California. Let's have the heads promenade halfway as the sides do a right and left through. Now, this is actually not basic. This is kind of mainstream. But, we can't do that here, can we? Oh, I can't do it. I take it back. Go back.
Sorry, Scott. We have to stick with basic.
Oh, actually, I was going to do a flutter wheel. Is a flutter wheel is basic? Okay. Okay, so if I have all 4 ladies lead flutter wheel, do that. Pick up your man. Take him back home, but sweep 1/8. So you have a diagonal square. Original heads up to the middle and back. Original heads lead to the right, circle to a line. We have a diagonal line of 4. Anyway, lines up to the middle and back. Everybody square through 3. Now I'd like you all to bend the line 1.5. You're home. I stole that. Out and out stole that from Brian Clark.
Is there anybody who wants to show some choreography? Nagaga-san, Okumura-san, nothing? We still have 10 minutes, but in my writing, not only the Grand Square, new version of Grand Square, but other ideas included there. And the thing is that, Jerry Story always use this, but diagonal box, do the right letter or something like that. Heads pass the ocean, swing through, boy run, and then making a two-faced line in the center. That's a quarter line, is it? And then diagonal box, right letter, flat feet, or something like that. That point is that keeping the footprint in the same place. But in the case of the, in the case of dive through, that's a little different. And center couple make an arch and a dive through. Then the center two-faced line will be different-handed. So bend the line that should be home or something like that. That is very frequently used by Jerry's Story, I understand. And that is one. And in Japan, there is one good caller, one of the best caller. Randy knows, Sam Tajima. He is kind of funny in leaving the dancers without saying they are home or they are stud bucket, and preparing the next singing call. And the dancer don't know, looking out, and then suddenly music stop and the call stop. And, then look around. Oh, we are home. So you don't have to, in this case, have in a static square position, but facing in. You can leave the dancers. Which direction they're looking at, it's okay. They will find, finally, they are home or bucket stirred. That is another idea. And in the case, maybe I can show you the example, but you can create that very easily. And when Sam Tajima used that together with American color in a big club anniversary, American color didn't know that type of way. And finally, the idea was, the American colors picked up the idea and started using that. And the thing is that just a normal square through 3 or pass through element left type of getting out, very easy one. But the American color left and just pass through, and without saying element left, heads go forward and back. Sides, we are side. And without doing element left, if you face in and back out, they are home. So that is kind of a funny thing. The reaction of the dancers, very, very interesting. That's another idea.
Randy Doherty, Mesa, Arizona. Doc, I'm wondering, because I've been to Japan quite a few times, and the first few times I went, do you, as a club caller, teach the word diagonal, because it's not a square dance word? Diagonal is plain English to us here in America, but over there it's like if you said, any one of your numbers of 10. I don't know how you pronounce it, but do you teach that non-square dancing word to your Japanese basic dancers? You do.
Yes. Okay. How about Nakagawa-san? Do you use Japanese language? Nanameni, double passer? Yeah. Yeah. We try to let the Japanese people understand the English command, but still.
So you say it in English, and then you translate in Japanese first. Okay. Because my first time over there, I was using a gimmick, and I said, center men diagonally shake hands, pull by, and I had egg all over my face because they didn't understand, first of all, shake hands. And then the next thing, the diagonal, they didn't know that. And when you got 100 squares, they'll look at you and say, "What did you say?" I've learned only use square dance words. Yeah, you teach me.
I'm Hiroshi Nakagawa. So, no recording.
Hiroshi Nakagawa just gave us an idea that we use both English language diagonally, and they normally dancers don't understand. So we say nanameni means nanameni, 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 naname, naname. A lot of that kind of Japanese command. Yes, that's true. Thank you very much.
A quick question. I believe that lead right is a basic call, lead right. It is. Is it legitimate at the basic level or even mainstream level to have all 4 couples lead right?
Yes. Sure, why not?
Well, because I was told it wasn't.
It is. There's nothing illegal.
So all 4, from a static square, you could say all 4 couples lead right, partner trade, and stir the bucket. Okay. Thank you. Gordon White from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Thank you. Something else?
Walt Burr, Munich, Germany. Randy, I'll make it easy for you. When you come over to us, we also use the word diagonal, but it's diagonale. Diagonale.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's about time. And thank you very much for coming in this session. Thank you. And thank you very much for Mike, Callahan, and Walt Burr. Big hand to those panelists, please. ありがとうございました. Thank you very much.